Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this marvellous, marvellous Monday. It's Monday and it's marvellous. You're marvellous. You look marvellous. Everything is marvellous. Well, not everything's marvellous, as we still have a missing Sebastian Rogers. And what did the press conference teach us? It taught us that not much has really changed since the Summer Wells case. And unless things change, we're likely to see the exact same outcome, and that is nothing happens. And that's what has got to change. You can't be in a situation like this. I genuinely don't understand it. I don't understand how you can have a child that is the sole responsibility of the caregivers, whether they're parents, grandparents, whatever, whoever is, from a legal standpoint, the guardian of that child. Surely that has got to stand for something. Surely that's got to stand for something. And it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to. What does it mean? When is the government and when is authorities going to hold people to a higher standard? When are they actually going to get to the point where they actually put some meaning behind what that title stands for? You know, if you have children, then that is your responsibility to make sure that your children are okay. That's just the fundamentals of being a parent. You have a child, you take care of them, and you make sure that they're kept safe. And with Sebastian Rogers, you've got a child who has issues. He has issues, and some people will stand by and say that these issues or autism means that he is actually highly intelligent, highly adaptive. He is capable of running off on his own, you know, and being resourceful as well. But I think as we are now in, week 7, some people are starting to not only lose patience, but they're starting to lose hope. And then you have to go back to the start. And I've said this time and time again, what are the bare bones of it? And the bare bones of it are that Sebastian was seen going into the house and he was never seen coming out. And then what has ensued since then has been nothing short of a circus, an absolute circus, but a circus that seems to have consistently 2 members of the main players, if you like, missing from it, and that is Katie and Chris. They just don't ever seem to be anywhere, and it's got to the point where I am asking a serious question now, and that is, who is protecting who? I've considered that perhaps it is indeed Chris who is protecting Katie, because he knows potentially that something happened, he loves his partner, and he is standing by her. Maybe there was difficulties within the home and he doesn't necessarily blame her for anything that could have happened. And again, I'm not saying that anything has. All I know is there's a child that's missing and the child hasn't been seen. And my mindset is that if that little boy walked out of that house under his own volition, then he would have been found by now. He would have been found by now. At this point, I don't care what anybody thinks, what anybody says. I do not think for one second that boy is resourceful enough to evade every single person looking out for him. I absolutely don't. So, in my opinion, something happened to him. And now that is either something happened within the home that forced him to leave under his own volition, which that in itself deserves questions to be answered, or something happened and he was physically removed from the house. Now, some people have reached out and they've said maybe someone got into the house and took him away, which, you know, some people said that with the Summer Wells situation. Was Summer out on her swing and playing in the back garden and someone entered up onto the property at 110 Ben Hill Road? Would you? The bloody place looks like a scene from The Hills Have Eyes, and I don't know anybody who would be crazy enough to venture up onto there. They'd likely think that they'd be found in a fridge with their legs lopped off. But anyway, Sebastian, did he leave under his own volition? Did something happen and he left and come of harm? Again, you'd got to think, if he came of harm under, again, his own volition, then surely he would have been found. He'd have been found in the woods, he would have been found in water, he would have been found somewhere. Something would have been found. The fact that he has vanished off the face of the planet concerns me when he is seen going into the house but he's never seen out, and the behaviours of the people around him. I don't for one second at this stage feel that Seth has anything to do with it. I feel that he is upset, he is frustrated, and he is losing his shit. I did a video yesterday that very clearly shows that the guy is at the end of his tether, and I would be at the end of my tether. But Katie and Chris is a conundrum, because I think to myself, you could explain some of their behaviour for a couple who have lost their child, and they just, there isn't really a rule book for how to deal with it, how to cope with it, and how to behave. And even though there is an expectation of the public for people to behave in certain ways, it isn't always the case, as we've seen. It just isn't. But again, my question, who is protecting who? Because I do feel in this, and this is just a feeling, in my bones, and I know we criticise other people, and we criticise people for looking at someone like Brian Coburn and thinking, I just feel it in my bones, I look into his face and he looks dodgy, whatever, but the way they're behaving, not being involved in searches, not being involved in vigils, and I feel that, for me, someone's protecting someone. Now, is it Katie is scared of Chris and she's kind of keeping away because she's scared that she's going to say something wrong? She's going to be held accountable anyway, because at the end of the day, that's Sebastian's mum, and there would be accountability if he came to harm because of her partner. She ignored it, helped hide it, whatever. And is she just petrified of saying something or doing something wrong and being caught? Or did she indeed do something and Chris is protecting her because, again, as aforementioned, he loves his partner, and perhaps there was difficult times at home, and he feels that whatever happened was accidental, whatever, and he is not willing to not only lose his stepson but lose his partner over something that he considers was unavoidable in his eyes, as he tried to rationalise it and been able to rationalise it at all. I don't know. I just, at this stage, this is just another frustrating case which in my eyes just isn't being handled. It isn't being dealt with, and this just promotes that if you have a child, you don't really need to look after him. You don't really need to take care of him. And if they go missing, not only will you not be held accountable, but you'll actually garner a massive amount of support, donations, help. And you can behave the way you want without any repercussions. You can threaten people. You can speak in a condescending manner to people who just want to help because you're not saying what they want you to say. I just don't get it. Something ain't right here. Something isn't right. But Sebastian's missing. Like I say, we're into week 7, and people need to start answering some questions. But is anybody asking any questions? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.